Welcome to Egg Foo What, the first and only podcast about people eating stuff. This is Mike Lisk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of Egg Foo. What? I'm Greg Wilson. Young Michael, you threw me off with your intro there. You switched up. Usually you say I'm Mike Lisk, and you did a little something different here.
This is
walk us through this decision.
No decision. I didn't write it down. It just happened.
You just went with it.
I went with it.
Freestyle. Wild card.
I'm feeling it.
Damn. We're already off the rails tonight.
Off the rails.
What's happening?
Happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Did you have any celebration? I know you've discussed your dislike of corned beef in the past.
True. I don't like corned beef.
What's that?
I guess when was St. Patrick's Day? I guess it was since our last episode. I didn't do anything.
No.
No.
I went to my local establishment. They have a pretty good turnout every year. I've been going there for the last few years. They have a corned beef plate, and you get the full array of Irish St. Patrick's Day meal. Ugh. You get corned beef.
As a person who 23andMe were shocked at how Irish I am, may I say to most Irish food you're about to list, woof.
They had a lot potatoes.
Well, let's not be right. Come on, Mike. 2020.
Quarter wedge. It was like a full quarter wedge of a cabbage, which they went too far. I mean, they gave
a wedge of cabbage an actual part of a meal, like.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge slab of cabbage. They even gave a little soda bread on the side. So
I thought you were going to say they even gave it a name.
I mean, yes, this is not my ideal meal, but as part of my heritage, I feel it is my duty.
Yeah. Well, how Irish is where you are right now? I picture Jersey being
eat this stuff Irish. Once a year.
Yeah, I mean, I picture Jersey as mostly Italian, based on TV stereotypes I've seen through TV. But most of them are Irish too, I assume. How Irish is your?
Yeah, actually, Bayonne. When my parents were living there, when I was born, it was pretty much evenly split Italian and Irish. This is the 60s. Over time, a lot of Polish folks moved in, and now it's changing again. And there's a lot of Egyptians, and
That's funny, isn't it? Isn't an Egyptian, like, you don't think of an Egyptian as like a modern person. Like if I said, "Hey, this is Reggie. He's an Egyptian." Would you look and expect Reggie to be walking in like a King Tut, like a mummy?
Like no, that's you, Greg.
Skirts.
That's on you. That's on you, Greg.
Is it just me?
No, you're still in the land of the pharaohs.
I'm stuck in the BC. Okay. Some people are stuck in the 90s. I'm stuck in whatever period of time the Egyptians.
King Tut. Yeah.
Well, yeah. When you say the word Egyptian, I go right back to. Am I crazy? Am I the only? You don't?
No,
like if somebody says this is Joe, he's an Egyptian. You don't think, oh wow, you go to that period of Egypt that is more iconic. You don't.
No, I don't. I don't because I've met.
Accepts all people face value.
I've met real Egyptians walking around in 2023. So
have you?
It's not a stretch for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I mean, I've met Egyptian people in Bayonne, and I've worked with an Egyptian woman one time a while back. So yeah, no, it's a modern. It's a modern
it makes
society.
Sense. I mean, it obviously makes sense as I'm, but when you just throwing it out there, it's like, wow, I don't know if I ever hear that word. I don't ever hear the word Egyptian, not in the context of, studying the pharaohs or, or the
I get it.
Bengals,
So yeah, it was the meal itself was there was too much. There was too many potatoes, too much cabbage. The corned beef was okay. Not the best. It had the fat, which is, the downfall of corned beef.
Yeah, I don't do well with that.
Well, yours truly did pack away all the corned beef.
So after all that, you inhaled all.
Yeah, no, I did not leave any corned beef. I left a fair amount of cabbage and potatoes, which I feel bad about. I hate just seeing food wasted.
Is all this gratis?
No, it was I think it was $20.
Okay.
$20.
You got your $20
reasonable. The other thing that irked me, I came in late. When I go out, I do go out late, and so most of the revelry was in full swing.
What are you, Batman?
Yeah, I'm Batman. No, I'm a guy who's got to sneak out late when his father is in bed. Yeah, that's where I'm in.
No, I'm not Batman. I'm just a guy. I'm not a Cape Crusader. I'm just a guy trying to be a guy who. Sorry.
So anyway, I get there late. Everything's in full swing. The music's blasting. And what do we, would it pain somebody at this place to play a little Irish music once a year? Of course not. They're playing Queen and the classic rock that I hear every single time I go up there.
Of course.
So
not playing Thin Lizzy, other undertones.
Well, no, there was no effort by the people who were there when I got there to
and I'm sorry,
acknowledge what the day was.
Not count. Brown-eyed Girl does not count as Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Sorry.
So I waited, for all the music to sort of finish, and then I jumped on there, and I was playing the stuff you play on. You play the Pogues, right? Play the Pogues. I played a little Danny Boy. I played. I even played bands I normally wouldn't consider playing. Flogging Molly. Yeah, no, I mean, and I guess some people were playing. What's the other one?
U2.
The song with the Boston,
the Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, the Dropkick Murphys. Not a fan of theirs, but I'll tolerate them.
Well, yeah, I told you about seeing The Departed finally a couple weeks ago. So I had to sit through that a couple times.
Yeah. So so I play a little Pogue set. Next thing you know, people are jumping around, dancing and stuff. I'm like, okay. Well, are these people just not curious? They're not totally unfamiliar with this music. I don't get it. And then I'm hailed as a hero. People think I'm like some sort of music maestro.
But you're just a guy standing in front of a bar.
Because I don't play shit music on a jukebox.
Guilty.
It's comical. I mean, I accept my position there. Actually, a guy bought me a drink the other night. He liked the music I was playing.
Really?
This young woman, as I'm going in the place, is like, "Play that great music, Mike." So I'm hailed as a hero at this place. Wow. A jukebox hero, a literal jukebox hero.
Box hero with stars in his eyes.
But I guess I've got to accept any good thing in my life at this point.
Well, that's more exciting than my. Yeah, that's more exciting than my. I can't remember that. I mean, the number of memorable St. Patrick's Days I've had in my life are pretty minimal because I was always one of the snobs, especially in Brooklyn. Like New Year's Day. It's for amateurs. I'm just gonna, I'll let
Amateur
them go
night,
around.
yeah.
I'll let them go around and be idiots or whatever. The only St. Patrick's Day memory I have is when I was a kid. My father for St. Patrick's Day, because we were like the only Irish people in town, like super Irish. My dad had this thing. He said, I think it was one of these usual efforts to try to get me to hit the books and try to get better grades, whatever. He came up. If you read this book on Irish saints, and I'll give you a quiz, and if you do well on the quiz, we'll get pizza.
There you go.
For St. Patrick's Day. And so, of course, but my brother, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. To both me and my brother, he had this contest. He said, read this book, I'll give you a quiz. If you do well, you get X number right, pizza, St. Patrick's Day. Great. So, of course, what did I do? My brother, the smart one, immediately scurried off and either read the book or he already knew the answers. Of course, I knew he would answer all the questions. and I'm going to get pizza anyway.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to show up with a
He'll
pizza
ride his coattails, in other words.
with 4 kids and be like, no, just this one gets this pizza I'm holding in my hand.
Right. Yeah.
So I just showed up. I nodded my head. Yep.
Mm.
This one. Got it. Yep. Boom. Pizza time. I learned from a young age, I will not read for pizza. Sorry. This lesson has carried me through my life. That's the best St. Patrick's Day memory I have.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you would
I
have. I thought you would have maybe celebrated a little more when you were in Brooklyn. I'm sure there were.
I'm sure, but I'm sure they all kind of went the same.
Mm-hmm.
Meet up at the local pub, have a few containers.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody bumps into somebody, I take a little umbrage.
You're not a fighter, are you?
I'm sure every Saint, I probably had 20, 30 straight St. Patrick's Days in a St. Winter. Yeah. So
no memorable
you won this year.
No memorable turkey nest celebrations.
What do you think?
I don't know.
The word memorable being operational. I don't. I mean, I'm sure that the nest was so packed to the walls on that night of all nights anyway.
Yeah, the crowds.
Hard to imagine me having any fun.
Actually, in Manhattan, St. Patrick's Day is one of the worst days of the year.
Yeah,
just with the wanton public drunkenness, and there's a lot of young people that come into the city, and underage kids are drinking and barfing, and it is a bad day. It's a bad day in Manhattan. So I imagine Brooklyn's just as bad.
The same, yeah. So yeah, I don't know if I've never loved St. Patrick's Day any more than anything else, whatever. So so sorry, buddy.
First things first. I noticed. I have finished the first season of Cheers. I'm into the second season. I heard, was it last week you mentioned that you wanted to discuss something about the final episode of season 1? You had a complaint.
Well, yeah. I just had a bitch. I mean, I loved it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing about him and his brother at the very end.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
and you never see the brother. He's just sort of this.
I mean, I guess because we have to assume he's this amazing. But it's like, I'm sorry, this isn't this guy breezing in and I'm sitting there. It's like, you're Sammy Malone.
Right.
Not only are you, let's be honest, ridiculously good looking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I don't know how good looking this Derek character is. I'm sure he's good looking.
Yeah.
But I doubt he's so good looking. Sam just has to curl up in a corner and cry. Plus,
yeah, it is weird for him to
international lawyer, very successful, very impressive. You know what wipes that away? Being a fucking ball player, a professional baseball player.
Owning your own bar.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're like ridiculously good looking, the biggest hound in all of Boston. You are a professional baseball player. You own a bar. And yet we're really supposed to believe that Mayday Malone just can't even face his brother.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. And I have one last piece. I'll wait to save at the end, a little button, because I know you'll like it more. So so that I rolled. I'd seen it 100 times before and never really, for some reason, watching this time. I don't know if I knew, because I'd have to report back to you. And I know with you, I can't be all flowers and puppies. I was just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it's it was strange to see that he totally has no self-esteem whenever his brother comes around, which is a little bizarre. Yeah.
And these guys who aren't exactly coming from the Christian Science reading room, they worship the Red Sox, but this guy, he's an international lawyer. Oh.
Yeah.
So okay, so I want to get that out. But it's been burning my ass for 2 weeks. I'm so glad I finally could. So hit me. What do you think? Season 1. I'm already cranking through season 2, but give me the.
Oh yeah, I'm about 6 deep into season 2.
Oh, okay, we're probably aligned.
And,
okay, season 1 you finally watched. I feel like I'm stalling because I'm scared you're not going to say you love it, so I'm stalling. Take it away, young Michael.
No, I enjoy the bar atmosphere, and I like the commitment to not really leave the bar in the first season. We mentioned this earlier, but as it progresses in its success, I see that it's going to start going different places. I mean, it goes to Diane's apartment. Did it go at the end or in the first episode of season 2? I think
season
of
1,
season 2.
the very end, they went to her apartment.
They did go to her place. Okay.
Maybe it did. No. Oh shit.
It's not important.
Hold on a second. Hold on. About 30 minutes ago. Hold on. I have a breaking report. I got to break in. I'm looking out this window, and it looks like a school bus of some sort pulled up, and like 30 teenagers came out walking. They walked in the building, and now some of them are walking out again. Now, shit, but it's not. It's only some of them. Next time the big group comes out, they're going to get hit with a big fat egg foo what advertisement from the sky. Go ahead.
Okay. And we'll be able to hear this live?
Yes. If it happens. No, like 30 walked in, 6 walked out. Oh my God, is there a bloodbath happening at Wegmans downstairs? Am I reporting real news? I don't know. They seem pretty happy. I mean, they are teenagers.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll keep you updated. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fascinated.
So after all this, you liked the season?
Yeah, I'll say I liked it. I mean, it was fairly predictable where it's going. So no big surprises at the end, right? I mean, you knew it was going to get there at some point. And then already, I guess my chief complaint about season 2 is that now we've got to deal with the lovebirds, right? Now they're lovebirds.
Yeah.
And there is something nauseating about just lovey-dovey people all the time. I worked in a liquor store in the 80s, and there was a guy who worked there, and he was engaged to be married, and his girlfriend would come by all the time, and she was just such a lovey-dovey, just laying it on all the time. It just got nauseating. Does this make me a monster that I find that kind of behavior nauseating?
Yes.
Okay. All right. The other thing I want to complain about, and this is like so trivial that you'll probably go like, how would you even notice something like that?
Right.
So anyway, I watch the way
I should have written down what my final thing is going to be, because if it's the same thing as you, it'd be a miracle. It would be like,
no, it's not. I can guarantee you that.
How great would that be, though? Would be legends.
One of my pet peeves in watching the service of the waitresses, Carla and Diane, and even the bartender. Well, no, it's mostly the waitresses. Is that when they're picking up glasses, they're taking the bar napkin and they're sticking them in the glass.
No good.
You got to take it out of the glass, but now you got a soggy napkin. So what did that achieve?
Well, you're just throwing that anyway. What are you reusing napkins? I mean,
no.
I know you lived through the Depression, but
I'm just saying, why stick it in the glass? It doesn't make things more convenient. So and I saw Carla in a recent episode where she wasn't sticking them in the glass. She was just laying them on the plate or serving platter. And then right at the end, she takes one and sticks it in the glass. Oh. So I'm like,
stick it to you.
Just to stick it to me. It's just kind of irritating.
Well, normally I would try to present an argument in her favor, but I defer to you. One of us has worked in these establishments and one has not. So I respectfully defer to you, and I'm sorry you had to watch that.
So what is your...
And part of why I'm screaming at the TV is because of you. So after Diane, okay, spoiler alert, people, if you care about Cheers and you don't want spoiler alerts, please stop this podcast now. Okay. So after Diane leaves to ostensibly run away with Derek.
All right, yeah.
The good-looking one. Sammy calls up one of his emergency girls, you know, for a romp in the night.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I'm watching, and he just jumps over the bar. She pops up. Of course, she's ridiculously hot. She shows up immediately. It's like 2 a.m, and she's meticulous. And he just hops over the bar. And he's like, "Let's go." And he's like, fresh as a daisy. There's no even at a clean establishment like that, slogging beers all day. There's none slosh on him. There's no like nothing. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like, we're supposed to believe this. He's there for 10 hours a day. He's going to meet up with a hot minx and he can just pop out of a box, like fresh scrubbed, ready to go. And as I'm thinking, I'm screaming, like, now you're thinking like Mike, because it's not real. It's not how a real bar is. So that drove me nuts. I think thinking that you drove me to it drove me more nuts. But I'm like, oh, come on. Come on. I know Sammy might have a backup shirt somewhere, but so that nagged at me a little bit, but that's okay. Great season, great first season.
Yeah, did Gretchen Corbett show up in the end of season 1 or from the Rockford Files? Do you know her?
Well, I'm not 90, so I don't know the Rockford Files. Jesus.
Anyway, she was. Remember, they were gonna date 2 different women. You know, Diane was going to set Sam up, and that episode, the woman Diane tries to set Sam up with is Gretchen Corbett. She played Jim Rockford's lawyer in the Rockford Files. I mean, her part was not that great in Cheers, but it was just nice to see her again.
R.I.P. Miss Rockford Files.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're rambling through the second season too. That's good.
I am, but I did a little research. Now that I know that the actor who played Coach is going to die in the next season.
Oh, great!
Again, just like Fools and Horses. Third
season
is the third season the death season that Yes. And here's the kicker. So I find out a little bit about this actor, and guess what? He's my age when he died, 61. He looks older than 61 in that show, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's how most people look back then, right? Like, you look at pictures, you're like,
I don't know.
Like, you look at Sparky Anderson, the old Detroit Lions manager.
Yeah,
he looks like he was 180, and then it's like, oh shit, he was 36. Like, we just always looked at. I think Coach was one of those people. He just always looked like he was 100. I bet you go back and look. He looked like that. I think that's most people.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, does that
a bit
worry
of a shocker? As you get older and people are dying your age, it really brings it home. The actor from I knew him from The Wire. I never saw the show Fringe. Did you ever watch that show?
I haven't gotten around to watching The Wire.
Oh, okay. Lance Reddick, I think. Reddick.
He was 60 and like ripped, right? When he great shape.
Yeah. So yeah, it's always shocking when somebody your age or something younger. I'm like, oh boy, it's just around the corner.
Wait a couple of years, and it's like when they die, and it's not a shock. It's like you're still young. It's still like, ooh, that's young. But
yeah.
Well, that gets me to my. I have to admit, I have spent the last week with a strange cloud of, I guess it's existential dread, looming.
Okay.
Which I don't know how to explain. So I'm just going to talk like for 30 seconds, and you can pretend, because I think I just have to vent.
Okay.
But like, I don't know if it's the usual, like, I'm feeling old, time's running out. It's not that usual stuff. But there's something about, as I'm looking back, now all of a sudden I have this like decades behind me to look back on. And everything seems like yesterday, but it's like 140 years ago, 30 years ago. And then it's like, that's weird. Then when I think about, you wish you could know when you were in a golden age, when you're in it. Now I find myself looking back, because everything now was like 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago, these memories. you know, it's just, I don't know. It's very, very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not doing a good job of articulating myself.
No, no, I understand completely what you're saying, because
It,
I'll see somebody make a reference to 9/11, and then it's like that was 22 years ago,
yeah,
and it's like, wow,
yeah,
22 years from now, I'm not probably not going to be here. Just think
yeah,
about it that way.
yeah. And I
It's
don't know
like,
if it's me because yeah, I did spend a lot of an arrested adolescence in Brooklyn for years, and I always had this sense that like, you know, I was on the cusp. I was going to be an adult. That somebody was on the cusp, and everybody younger than me was at the same, young and scrambling and whatever.
mm-hmm,
But now I look back. Now I'm at the age where not only can somebody be younger than me and like a conscious person, you can be 10 years younger than me and be like senior vice president at X company with 4 kids and a summer house.
mm,
And it's not even like you'd have to be a wonder kid.
yeah,
And you're 10, it's like, so then it's like, oh, fuck, shit.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's
No,
not the, it's, I don't know.
no,
And also there's something about it's really hitting me. Maybe it's because I don't have kids.
mm,
And maybe I started to psychoanalyze myself, which was a mistake, and then thankfully didn't last long. But I'm like, maybe this is why I'm so desperately trying to put out all this shit all the time
mm-hmm,
to leave something.
yeah,
Not that anybody's going to care about it then either, but it's like, I don't know.
mm-hmm,
Because I also realized a couple months ago, I don't remember if we talked about this, but I realized we're basically in the first 100 years of recorded human history
mm-hmm,
in terms of voice and video. Like to us, it's like, I've been 100 years. But if humans go on for another 600,000 years, like we're the very first generation of people that are the first group of generations that you'll be able to look and see and hear.
mm-hmm,
So then I'm like, well, then there's one generation, this last generation, that never will be heard from again or seen again.
mm-hmm.
It's just very strange. It's like we're the last generation, like you and me, who for the most part won't be able to look at like every day of their parents' lives before them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like kids in a couple of years will be able to look, oh, here's what our parents were doing every day of the fucking week, basically. And here's what they looked like, here's what they sounded like. But as you go back, that's not the case.
No, I mean, everybody's filming themselves round the clock, but are people keep looking back? Even, my generation, we have photos, you keep photos.
Mhm.
I mean, I still have boxes of photos, family photos and stuff.
Yeah.
But, they're tucked away and nobody really digs them out to look at. I know my brother went through this whole thing digitizing all these photos.
Mhm.
So I've got access to them on the computer and stuff. But do I look at them a lot? I mean, it
Well,
just seems like, you're living your life, but even though you're filming it all, you're not going back and looking at this stuff.
right.
It may be fun in the moment, you can post it on social media, but it's all going to be forgotten. There's just,
Yeah.
like you said, there's volumes of this stuff, and nobody's going to be looking at it
Well, I
in a
wonder if,
couple of years.
well, of course not. But I wonder if that adds to, and I'll just use myself as, I don't know if there's other people, like, because now we have so much stuff cataloged because of the internet, you know, constantly it's popping up. Oh, 10 years ago on this date, I had this post, I had this picture. And it's like, oh, that's great. That's funny, whatever. Whereas before you were never hit. You had the same box of photos you go look at every couple of years. Here's, and that's it. You weren't bombarded with it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And then that makes you start thinking, oh, gee, that was great. Oh shit, that was 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. I don't know if I feel like I'm being bombarded with this, and it's this weird cycle of keeping everything. I don't know, society in general is like everything's, they show everything's retro. Everything's constantly coming back to be celebrated constantly in a way that was never done before. They say nostalgia yeah, I don't know if nostalgia is a relatively new thing in terms of that, but so yeah, all week it's been that sort of thing. And then I see, and then today some Jane Fonda video popped up from 1989, and I'm looking at it, and then I realized I was like, oh my God, that's 34 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. And
Yeah.
then I looked, and she was my age,
Mm-hmm.
50, or she was, I think, 52. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, shit. Since 1989, she's led a pretty fucking amazing life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think Jane Fonda spent the last 30 years sitting around bitching and moaning about how crap your life is. So
Are you? Is this a roundabout way of you saying you're announcing you're going to do some exercise videos?
no, I'm not
Oh,
doing
okay.
exercise videos. Let me disavow you of that notion.
I don't know. Might be you might catch the public's attention.
That would catch somebody's attention.
Uh-huh.
But
No, but I marvel at your ability. You say you don't
you.
remember all these posts and different things. You seem to have a better grasp on the past than me. Whereas the way I sort of mark time is by the deaths of family members.
Great.
Like I know, oh, this happened before my brother David died. This happened before my mother died. This
Yeah.
happened before my brother Robert died. So it's all sort of, it's probably not the most chronicle way to look back on the past, chronological way to look back on the past, but that's the way I mark time.
Do you think that changes as we get older? Because like when you're younger, this decade, boom, I was in school. This decade, boom, college, right out of college. And when you're younger, years and decades seem to be more firmly set in stone in my head, anyway. Whereas, like once I get to like 2000, then it all kind of starts blending together.
Yeah,
and that's what makes
the
it
last 20
hard.
years the last 20 years, I would say it's hard for me to pinpoint exact things. Up until 2018 when my brother died. So now it's like, oh, and I can't believe that's 5 years.
Yeah.
It's 5 years since that happened.
Yeah.
And that feels like, what? That's 5 years. It's bizarre. It's just, it's time is just, it's just very fluid. And they talk about this, I think, young versus older. When you're young, it seems like time isn't really going that fast, because you're so active doing things. You're sort of caught up in the moment. But as you get older, and then, you're looking back more, and it seems like, wow, where'd the time go?
I mean, am I punishing myself by, I have 30,000 posts from the past just sitting there.
No.
And of course, sometimes what happened? What was this? What was that? And because at some point it becomes kind of a diary, which wasn't intended to be.
Yeah.
But there are times where somebody needs to know something, and I'm like, oh, hold on one second, And
no,
then,
I give you credit. Yeah, you've kept a log of everything, and you can look back and find the moments on your blog. I mean, that's
and I'm comforted. I'm like, well, yeah, that's good. I assume it's good to be able to have a record. But then another thing, because I mentioned golden ages, which is silly, but you look back, you're like, oh, this was a great time. That was a great time, and for specific reasons. And like, yeah, I'm doing better now than I ever have in my life in terms of like a career and yada yada. But but I look back at patches and I'll be like, gee, at that time, did I know how great it was? I don't mean overall. I just mean in terms of like, wow, we used to just meet up at the nest randomly and run into each other and hang out for hours and have fun and this and that. And like 20 years ago, I didn't have a fucking life to speak of, but I was in a band this month, 20 years ago this month. If you recall, my band had a residency at the Charleston 20 years ago this month.
Yeah. Where I allegedly pulled the plug out, which I still.
Well, we'll say allegedly until those security tapes come in. And but it's funny because I look at that and I'm like, And then I feel silly because I'm like, of course, there's no golden age for me. No, what the fuck? But then I look back at someone, like, let's say Paul McCartney, because he'd be the ultimate. How can he look at pictures like when the Ed Sullivan Show? Is it possible for him to look at that and not just be totally depressed? Or did he have to work his way through that in terms of
no, I bet he doesn't even look back at all. I think a lot of successful people, they're always going forward. They,
yeah, I mean,
they stay interested in what's going on now.
But
so
I mean,
they
literally,
don't really
like
look
if you
back.
showed him a picture of here's them getting off the plane, you got to be like, oh my God, it's crazy how amazing that was. And of course, you don't care because you're 20 at the time, and is it sadder to look back on amazing times as opposed to just regular times? Follow-up question. Sometimes, and this makes me bad. I don't know this. I shouldn't say this out loud, but sometimes when a super rich person dies, or let's say the Queen, for some reason, sometimes I'm more sad for them because I'm like, gee, they had everything, and now it's over.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, I think Paul McCartney has enough self-conscious thinking that he knows that he's lived a very unique life.
Yeah.
That it's so different than most people's lives. So I'm sure he's grateful that he's had this phenomenal life, but I don't think he ever for a minute looks back and feels sad that it's not the same. I mean,
not sad it's not the same, but just not sad. Like, God, that was an amazing moment. I mean, I don't know what you could do more to be present, like as they say, but yeah. But yeah, I look at like when like Prince Philip, I'm like, God, this guy literally was a prince, and now he's dead. Yeah, how sad must that be for him? But he's not sad, which brings me to my final point. I'm sorry for dragging this whole shit out. Well, thankfully I can't fucking remember my last point. So, what was I gonna say? Prince Philip, dead. Spoiler alert. Shit, what's my final point?
I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, that's been bugging all week. I've had this cloud of existentialism.
You can't keep looking back. You got to just keep going forward because you'll get fixated on disappointments or things that you had happier times. But it does, what does that get you? Just you'll get depressed or whatever. So you have to just, I don't know. You have to keep moving forward. You don't forget the past, but you can't dwell on it. You can't dwell on it all the time. That's just, you're going to get stuck.
Yeah. And I've been not dwelling on it, but just like freaked out about how much of it there is, I guess. But yeah, also I made a joke about this earlier, but I think it's kind of true. And I don't know if it's just my personality. And I think one thing that bugs me about dying is there's no wrap-up show afterwards. There's no review. You don't look at it, see how you did or whatever. That bums me out. Well, that I know of.
Yeah.
Because that's the best thing about the past. You get to look back and pick out the fun bits and laugh and tell funny stories or whatever. If I die and there's no big wrap-up production afterwards, like a greatest hits or a best of, that upsets me.
You're not putting me in charge of this, are you?
It'd be the right thing for you to do, Mike. Do the right thing, Mike. That's all.
No.
And when the time comes, you'll step up and do the right thing. So,
how about you give me a little?
That's been my week.
How about give me a little help? And write out your own obituary.
Oh God.
It's a writing exercise that would be kind of amusing, I would think.
That might be a little highfalutin for us.
No, they're pretty short obituaries. They're not very long.
I've read an obituary.
Yeah.
Well, have you written yours?
No, I haven't written mine. I had to. I kind of whipped up something from my brother. It wasn't in the paper. That's the other thing. So few people read newspapers anymore. That's the thing that's dying out, is obituaries in the paper. Now that funeral homes have their own websites, and so people write their sympathies there now. And people don't. You have to find out. I mean, some people, older people. I mean, I experienced this at masses. I mean, we get the Jersey Journal, and people would go through the obituaries. Did you know?
My hometown paper. I still
did you hear what so and so died?
My hometown paper. I still look at the obituaries and the courthouse news.
But I thought at one point it was so overwhelming that I thought, they should just change the name of masses to did you hear who died?
Ouch.
Because that was the general conversation just about every day.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Where you at tonight? Did you hear who died?
What's that?
It's like Abbott and Costello bit. Where are you heading? Did you hear who died? Round and round.
Yeah. But no, you can't look back. You can't dwell on the past. It's just you'll get stuck that way. I mean, I'm just trying to.
It's not that I'm not articulating myself well. It's just
no. It's you're having a classic.
The vastness of time, because life is super short. But then you do look and you're like, God damn, that was a long time ago. And it feels like yesterday, but it wasn't. And you can also step back and make it seem like a million years ago. And I'm only 50. I mean, I don't know how guys who are 80 to do it.
Well, no, I think you're having a classic midlife crisis. I mean, are you looking at Porsches?
Yes. Yes.
You gonna buy a Porsche?
I have a 19-year-old girlfriend.
There you go. So this is you're having the classic midlife crisis.
That's funny. I aspire to be accused of having a midlife crisis. I don't know if someone like me can have a midlife crisis.
Well,
I think
you're the right age.
Life.
You're the right age.
Midlife crisis. But I'd like to. I don't know. I need focus. I think, like I bitched before, I got to have a project to really, like my book, like my last book. So I don't know. Maybe that'll cheer me up. I don't know.
How's this Cheers episode going?
Which one?
The one we're writing.
Not so good.
Maybe that's something you could focus on.
Slow. How's it coming on your end?
I'm waiting for your part. Give me some inspiration.
Yeah. All right. That's true. That's true. I could have been fucking doing that instead of staring out the window. What is life?
What is life?
Why are we here? But I did figure out, I think you might appreciate this. Can I tell you, or unless I did tell you, this is another thing again, I've probably told this 9,000 straight times, about what I have figured out is the life cycle before and after death. Have I explained this to you?
I don't think so.
Okay. It finally dawned on me, because when people say, gee, what's being dead like? The answer is always, well, what was it like before you were born?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. I think we had this conversation. That's my line. I used to have conversations with my mother.
You might have been, to be honest, I'm not even joking. I've heard it a million times since. Yeah. I'm not joking. I think I remember you being the first person to say that to me.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
Okay.
So you want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
So picture yourself as a piece of sand, the bottom of the ocean, on one side of the ocean. It's dark. You don't feel nothing. You don't see nothing. You don't even know you're there. It's just utter blackness, darkness, silence that you can't imagine. But it's the ocean. So you're moving along little bit by bit with each wave or whatever. Gently carries you over the millions of years until finally you're at the other edge of the ocean. You still can't hear anything, can't see anything, can't feel anything, don't even know you exist. But then, boom, you hit the beach. And in the splash of light and joy and life and love and laughter and anger and sadness, you burst out on the beach. And while you're on that beach, That is your life. That is the sun. That's everything you know. That's everyone you'll ever meet. Every word you'll ever say, and you'll love it. It's great. And then, like the tide, you go back in the ocean. You roll back in the ocean.
Okay.
And then what happens? You're that piece of sand again. You start kicking back in the ocean. You just recede back in the ocean of silence. But when you're on that beach, boom.
That's life.
That's life.
It's a very nice metaphor. I appreciate that, Greg.
Thank you. I like the ocean. I think that's pretty good, to be honest. I'm pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, no, it's
prouder than earlier today at work when I had to ask the guy next to me to unscrew the lid of my cup because I had just moisturized my hands. So that was a proud moment. I had two grandfathers fighting World War II, and here I am. Sorry, I can't unscrew this cap because I was just moisturizing. So I like my ocean life theory.
I don't think I've ever moisturized in my entire life.
You need to get on it, dog. I used to be the same way. Same thing with sunscreen. I used to be like, sunscreen.
How were you converted?
Finally, a couple of years ago, I just looked at my skin. It was like falling off in patches.
Okay, well, yeah, I haven't had that situation.
And yeah, so I was like, all right, you got to bite the bullet.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like chalk dust falling everywhere.
Okay. Well, yeah. I've never had that experience, so I can understand.
Tiny wolves nipping at your fingers.
I can understand why you would have to do something to
like waking up inside of a peanut butter sandwich with
alleviate
no peanut butter. So oh yeah, so yeah, I did that, and then can you please open this? I can't.
Did you get the eye roll?
No, it got a big laugh. It was I mean, okay. I work. I mean, obviously, I've worked it for laughs. I mean, you know.
Okay.
I probably could have unscrewed the lid eventually if I wanted to, but it was funny. So.
Didn't want to take your shirt tail out?
No, I'm a different dude at work. No. I could have. I knew it was going to be funny. So you know.
Okay. So you made a memory for all of your coworkers.
Maybe we all don't have Mike-less skin. Sorry. Must be nice. Must be nice to have that perfectly oiled skin.
It's not perfect by any measure, but it's not falling off. It's not falling off.
That's a fair point.
So last week,
I gave you my thoughts on life, and I was humiliated at the office with my moisturizer.
Okay. So last week we discussed the Buffalo Wild Wings suit.
What do I call them? What do I call them? Me and
Frivolous.
hip kids?
Say it again.
What do we call Buffalo Wild Wings? Me and hip kids?
Oh, I forgot.
DDubs. Come on, dude. You're fucking
all right. Okay.
You're embarrassing. You're
yeah. No, I can't remember stuff.
Okay.
I can use my age to say I don't remember stuff all the time now.
Hey, I do like that. I do like sitting there going, when somebody drops, I ain't getting it. I'm old. I ain't getting it.
I ain't getting it.
I ain't getting it. That's my new policy. I ain't getting it. That's my Greg Wilson 2024. I ain't getting it. Back to you.
I thought we'd take a break from the Chinese food and spend a little more time on the American side of the Chinese takeout menu, which most Chinese takeout places have fried chicken wings, buffalo wings. I was going to try the chicken wings with garlic sauce. I know you don't like the garlic sauce, but I've never had that before, and I thought maybe at some point I'll get that. But I went with the buffalo wings to give it a shot. I had a good experience. I've got 8 wings for $8.
Ka-ching!
Healthy.
Is that good?
I think it's okay. I think there was a little period during this inflationary stretch we were in where buffalo wings, the prices went up on buffalo wings. I think they were over $1.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're getting them at $1, I think it's kind of a bargain. But these were meaty wings, very tasty sauce, not overbearing. They were hot. I asked them for a spicy, and they obliged, but it wasn't ridiculously hot as sometimes they do. But so it was a good experience. I ate 4. I'll probably have the cold ones. I like cold chicken. You know, I like the hot and the cold. You know, split it up.
Because I go to pop downstairs. There's a grocery store just open downstairs in my building, and they have hot wings sitting everywhere. But then they have like prepackaged like cold wings just sitting there, and I'm like, who gets those? But you like those? You like those? Is that right?
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I can't be every man.
did not get any celery. Did not get any dip. Did not get any blue cheese or ranch to dip the buffalo wings. That's the downside. So anybody going to the Chinese takeout for wings, I would suggest you have your dipping stuff ready at home.
You heard them, people. Get that.
How about yourself?
Ready to go. Mine were fine. I had to eat at work cafeteria. I had a little lunch with some big muckety mucks. Thank you very much. And they just had wing. They had normal regular lunch wings or whatever. They were fine. I mean, I don't know, whatever. They were just normal, plain, tasteless, crappy, whatever. They were fine. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm all for it. I said, Mike wants a break. Let's give him a break.
I saw you post a photo on Instagram, actually maybe Twitter as well. Where I guess you got Chinese on a non just on your own, and you had the sauce on the side.
Yes.
Is this your new policy going forward?
I'm glad you brought this up because I almost forgot. Do we have a misunderstanding of what goop is versus brown egg foo young gravy?
No, they're different.
I heard
they're different. I understand. There's different sauces for different dishes.
The way I don't know if it was Jerry calling me on my bullshit as always. I couldn't tell if y'all started talking about the egg foo young gravy as if I'd been calling that goop, which is not the case. Goop is that red syrup nuclear crap. But yes, so let me tell you this, Mike List. Sunday, I was like, I hadn't really ordered out all week. I was eating pretty good. Maybe existential crises are good for my health. Good to know, doctor. And I was like, fuck it, I'll get some Chinese. I usually don't bother with Chinese food anymore except for this. And I got a little sweet and sour chicken in my head. And I order it, sauce on the side, because I will be flushing it down the toilet. Thank you. And
you don't even dip it in there at all?
No, I'm not
okay.
But then I started scrolling, and then I saw simple things said gravy. I was like, huh. Didn't say egg foo young gravy, just said gravy. So I was like, could this be? And so it was $2, Mike. I didn't even look. I just clicked, buy, bought.
All right.
I didn't ask. If it shows up, it's not egg foo young gravy, I just throw it out.
Okay.
$2. Do you hear me doing my Mike Lisk impression here? The way I do this slow talk? And then I just eat it with my mouth. And
is that what I sound like?
Not really, but
Okay.
When I go to Vegas as your impersonator, that'll be part of the bit. So I'm like, fuck. So and Lord, I don't know if I'd ever ordered egg foo young gravy by itself. Does that floor you? I don't know if it ever.
No, why would you? I mean, you get it with the dish, so I mean, you wouldn't have to.
I mean, because sometimes it comes on the patties, sometimes most times on the side. So now I'm like, can I do this every time? So I used the egg foo young gravy with my sweet and sour chicken. Yes, please. And then the next day, okay, I got to back up. Maybe I wasn't as health conscious as I'd said, because the previous day I had a pizza, and some of that was lying around the next day. So maybe I wasn't as health conscious. So I was like, well, what if I take these way too big pizza crusts, which I'm going to throw up, and dip them in the gravy? And as Mike Lisk would say in this tone, it was great. It was fantastic.
You're
So
just gonna put
yes, I
gravy
know
on
what you're about to
everything now.
ask, and the answer is yes.
You're just gonna put the gravy on
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
All right. Whatever makes you happy.
Yes.
Okay.
That made me happy. Now I realize to at least check every time to see if they offer it.
Mm-hmm.
You're goddamn right. That makes me happy.
Well, why
And
not
if
stick
I'm
to
being
this one
honest,
place?
You could be a little happier for me.
No, I'm glad you found a way to enjoy every dish going forward now.
And to your point, I think you're right. I think I will make a note of what this place was and try to see if I can make it my normal spot.
Yeah. No, I do not take joy in you know, eating food that you don't enjoy. I you know, that wasn't the point of the show.
No.
You know, the point of the show is maybe we'll find some different things we're not unfamiliar with, and you know, I found a couple things I really like, and at some point when I'm not eating this food every week, I'll go back to some of these dishes that I discovered.
Yeah.
But
Really?
for the time being, though, I'm glad you found a end around to make your experience more enjoyable.
I mean, I thought you'd be calling me out for not really having thought of this before much.
Well, no, you found an end around that.
Okay, stop saying end around.
that you're not really going to experience the dishes as they're meant to be experienced.
Right.
Because sweet and sour chicken is not supposed to have brown gravy with it.
But it's fantastic.
You love it. You're finding, so you're going to create your own dishes going forward, which I like that.
Okay.
I like that idea. You're being creative. You're being creative with the menu.
I think I've reached that point.
Yeah. You found a secret menu in your mind.
Ooh, Michael Lisk.
That Greg Wilson.
I'm sorry. You can say end around.
You've discovered a new secret menu to mix and match things to make every dish Greg Wilson delicious.
And that secret is
brown gravy.
For young gravy.
All right. It's brown gravy.
That's not brown gravy. Brown gravy.
Was it sufficiently puffy?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You had the puffy gravy.
That's the difference between egg foo young gravy and brown gravy.
So you're gonna have puffy gravy with every dish.
Not every dish.
Know, so be it. So be it.
Mike, you're angry. You sound angry.
No, I'm not angry.
You seem upset.
I'm glad you're not going to be throwing food away every week. So I think that's a good thing.
I feel like you're so mad.
Trying
to wrap it up in you're happy for me. It's like, come on.
I mean, there's a dish we're coming up on. I've been pushing it down the line because it just does not sound appealing to me at all.
Oh, that's the one? The one?
No. The orange flavored dishes.
Yes, good point, Michael.
Now, so you're gonna order an orange flavored beef or chicken, and you're gonna get the brown gravy with it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. No, I mean, I'm happy you found a way. This is your 5 easy pieces moment, right? Where you found a way to work the menu to your advantage to get what you want.
I'm just playing the system, bro.
Yeah, no, I
paid for it.
I applaud that. I definitely applaud that.
I paid for it.
I mean, you know, your reviews are going to be weird going forward because you're not reviewing the actual dish.
I mean, all I've done is scream for a year. So
okay,
it's gotta be better.
No, I like it. I like it because then you're going to give an alternative review.
Ooh, Michael.
That people have never considered eating this dish the way you're going to eat it.
Excited. I mean, geez. I'm loving this.
You found a new gear.
Ooh.
You have found a new gear for this broadcast, and it's going to be interesting with the Greg Wilson. Let's just call this the Greg Wilson twist. You've come up with the Greg Wilson twist.
That's right.
And you were going to twist this menu that has been giving you so much grief, and you're going to twist it.
I'm going to flip the script
to your liking. No, I like it. I think it's a creative move.
Thank you, buddy.
Kudos.
It ties me back a little to Egg Foo Young.
Yeah.
My homeland.
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you so supportive. I was a little, thought I'd get a little stick there. But then I forgot, Mike Lisk is amazing. There you go.
So will you ever order buffalo wings from a Chinese takeout place again, or there's better buffalo wings out there?
Well, I'm not a fan of wings anyway. Like,
Oh, okay.
if they show up, they show up. That's fine.
Uh-huh.
Like, I rarely think to order wing. They're fine. So I probably never would.
Yeah.
I did have a funny thing in my first book, Williamsburg Rats, if I can do a little promotion here, about if you remember what Black people order Chinese restaurant, Chinese takeout places in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I'll let the listeners go find that. No, the answer is ketchup. Like, I cracked up.
Yeah.
I was standing there. Everybody came in everyone would walk into this Chinese place and order wings with ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, over and over. I was like, is this how this place makes all their money? Wings and ketchup? So
they didn't have French fries?
That is Williamsburg Rats.
They didn't have French fries?
Well, this is 15 years ago. Like, I don't know what the fuck.
Because I ordered some French fries. I ordered some French fries with my wings today, and I did not receive any ketchup, so I guess you have to ask.
Can I be honest? Can I tell you something?
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if it's all because 90% of my thinking of this is from Cant, my beloved joint up in Brooklyn. I've always been very surprisingly pleased with my Chinese place fries. They usually, a lot of times they're the crinkle cut, which is great.
Right, yeah.
No problems.
I had the straight cuts today. They weren't crinkle cut, but they were good.
Yeah. I'm
very thin.
Yeah, I'm really upset at Chinese food fries.
Mm-hmm.
Or as they call fries. They're just French fries. So yeah, wings, whatever. They were, I thank you for the week off. But yeah, we should do something orange next week. You're right.
Okay.
We haven't gotten into that. I think maybe it's been scary for us.
Yeah, I've been putting it off. It's something just the name itself is unappealing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the sweet and sour has its own distinct, flavor. Mm-hmm. But I've learned to accept that. But orange, I don't know. An orange marmalade
might be great. I don't know. Have you tried? Have you ever tried it? I've never tried it.
No, I've never tried it. So
I love oranges.
Yeah.
Unlike lemon sauce, I don't love lemons, but
Jason Gore from The Best Show, he raves about it.
But orange, like orange chicken, is that what it is? Orange.
Well, they have the whole thing. You can get orange beef. I think you can even get orange shrimp. I think if I do go down the orange road, I think I'll go with shrimp, because that seems more tolerable than orange on beef or orange on chicken.
Except you got to put it on shrimp.
I'll take shrimp. I love shrimp.
I don't know. You know what? Spinning out of my existentialist week and trying to be positive, thanks to young Michael here. I dare say, and I'll probably get hit by a bus after saying this. I want to look a little forward to this orange experiment. I want to be excited about it. Can I say I'm looking forward to a little orange chicken next week?
But you're telling me you're going to get the brown gravy on the side. So you're not really going to have the dish, are you?
Well, let me tell you this. Let me say this. Number one, you should have called me out for the chicken, because how many times am I going to fall for this chicken trick they do when it's all different bits every time? I'll say this. Why don't I do this? I'll get the gravy, but keep it on the side until I need to call it in for an emergency. I will. Let's say this gravy is the Sammy Mayday Malone of gravy for my dish. If I need it, I'll pull it out. If not, I'll just keep it pure. How about that?
But you're going to have to get the orange gravy on the side too.
Right.
So you can mix and match. So you can try the orange.
Okay. My dog is looking at the screen like, what is this guy saying? Okay. Let me walk.
You can't put the brown gravy on something that's got the orange sauce on it already, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I get the, I don't want to, let's say pork. Should I do chicken? God damn, am I gonna fall for this chicken like fucking Wile E. Coyote again?
Every time.
I'll get the sauce on the side. I'll get the orange sauce on the side. I'll try some of it with the orange sauce. Hopefully I'll love it and won't need the brown sauce. Or I'll throw the whole thing out the window and say, fuck Mike Lisk, I hate him. You never know. But I promise you I will hold off on the brown gravy until absolutely necessary.
Okay.
I'll be dipping my fries in it.
There you go.
All right.
It's that time, Greg.
I do not have a fortune cookie.
Food in the news.
Oh, yes. Food in the nude.
This segment has been a big hit the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to stick with it.
Really?
Yeah.
How's my food in the nude joke going every week? Have you been
people
good
love
feedback?
It.
Yeah. Today was the 1 year anniversary of our coming back to the office after 2 years. So I pulled out my joke I was going to use that day that I didn't. I was going to stand up and go, wow, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted 2 years ago. But I didn't. So
yeah.
Sorry.
People would have to think I can see the people scratching their heads now.
Nah, they would have been like, hey, that guy's amazing. That's funny. That's great.
Before I get into this first story, I just want to preface it by saying that as one of the spokespeople for Egg Foo What, this podcast does not promote violence.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you saw this story.
Whoa, Mike! I didn't sign off on that, bro. You don't speak for me.
I don't know if you saw this story, Greg. A Florida man was arrested.
Here we go, Florida man.
Yeah, Florida man is all you have to say, right? You're already on the edge of your seat.
Yep.
A Florida man was arrested after he slapped a woman across the face with a slice of pizza.
Oh, what was on the pizza?
The article did not provide that information, although it did say that after the woman was slapped with the slice of pizza, pizza sauce was splashed on her shirt collar, and the back of her collar. Also, and this was my favorite line of the article, remnants of pizza were found in her hair.
What, you JFK? Remnants of pizza.
Yeah.
That seems...
It's a good name for a band, right?
Yeah, I don't know why they needed to put that in there, but okay. They didn't say what was on the pizza?
It sounds like there was no toppings, or they would have said, I'm sure they would have mentioned that, right?
You know what the worst?
Remnants of pepperoni.
Remnants of pepperoni
were found in her hair.
Were sprayed about the car.
Yeah.
What I bet you know what I think the worst topping to be hit with in that case? I assume he took and like slapped her like cheese. Let's say you slap. Now, number one, again, we're not advocating slapping anyone, much less women. Let's be clear. But if you had to get hit, I would think those little mini pepperonis would hurt the most, because when they cook, they curl up and get crispy. Right? They can cut.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Theoretically, you could bleed to death from the little.
This could have been a lot worse, yeah.
And they're great, and those are better pepperonis. Is there something that could be worse?
Now, they said what prompted the pizza slapping was that the woman had slapped.
What'd she do?
she had slapped another guest on the bottom.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the slapper received a slap, not the same type of slap.
Right.
And the person who did the slapping with the pizza did point out to the police that he never used his hands, just the pizza.
Good for him.
Here's a question, Greg. Have you ever been hit with food? Have you ever hit somebody else with food?
Hit them?
Thrown? I mean, I'm going to tell a story. Have you ever been part of a food fight?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Not a real food fight. No.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I was invited to this birthday party over a friend of a friend. Actually, she was my brother's friend as well. And it was in the basement of their house.
70s.
And they had a nice big sheet cake, and everything's going along. I don't think there was even too much underage drinking going on. There may have been. I think there was some going on, but not excessively. It's not like there was a keg there or something like that.
So far, this party sounds boring.
Yeah, it was boring. That's the weird thing. This party went from boring to the most chaotic thing I ever saw. And I don't, my memory may be dim. I don't remember participating, but next thing you know, people are just ripping into this cake, grabbing handfuls of cake and throwing it at each other, whipping it at each other. I mean, there was cake all over this basement. I mean,
no, sir.
It was disturbing. I kind of was
rich
just
were these people. This house was.
No, I'm sure she got in some big trouble over this, because I bet they were finding cake in that basement for a year, because it was flying. It was just all over the place.
Remnants of cake were found.
Remnants of birthday cake. Yes. So I thought of that, as far as food being used as a weapon. Then the other story that occurred to me, because it may be one of the most disturbing things my older brother Robert did to me. And we were young. I mean, we were, this isn't like we're in our 20s.
Right.
This is like we were young, like 11, 12 in there. And I'm coming down the stairs. It's just one of those images you remember like it was yesterday, because it was shocking. I'm coming down the stairs. My brother's standing at the foot of the stairs. He's got his hand out, right? I'm like, what's he got in his hand, And as soon as I get to the bottom stair, he blows pepper.
What?
He had pepper in his hand, and he blows the pepper into my eyes. I mean,
like literally pepper spray.
Yeah, I don't know where he maybe he saw this on television, Get Smart or something. It was just shocking to me, and it worked. I mean, he blinded me. And I'm like, what? It was just.
That's crazy.
We would roughhouse. Four boys in our family. We would roughhouse. I think I've told this story on the Best Show. One of our favorite activities, we called it Midnight Monopoly. And basically we'd get into a bedroom, shut the lights off, and we all had the old those the gym socks, the long gym socks that were in vogue in the 70s. So you'd have a roll of those, and you could swing it. And then you'd have a little sort of ball at the end of the ball of socks, and you could clobber each other.
Oh yeah.
But it wasn't, we're not hitting each other with a hammer.
Put an 8-ball in there and just swing it up.
Well, no. Yeah, we weren't making it, that we were going to injure each other. So it was like, but it had its effect, and in the dark, if you got hit by this sock, you'd see the bright lights,
Oh yeah.
And we would start swinging, and we're having a good time, in the dark. But it always ended the same, because my youngest brother would start crying at some point. And then my mother would yell down, and that was the end of that,
Midnight Monopoly.
Midnight Monopoly, yeah.
Did y'all actually play Monopoly, or did you just hit each other with stuff?
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, all the board games, yeah, we were into the board games, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, except for the socks part.
You're around kids. I mean, do they still play board games, or is that like passe?
No. Well, the problem is I do, like, my goddaughter likes to play Monopoly, and sometimes we can drag a sister in, but then, well, he's better now, but sometimes when kids, little brother, when they're too little, but they want to play, and then you just want to launch everybody into outer space, because if you want to get terrorists to stop being terrorists, sit them down to play Monopoly with like a 4-year-old.
Yeah, no, they get bored.
They will be done.
Yeah.
They will say, I'm sorry, I will do whatever you ask me to do. Please don't make me fucking play Monopoly with a group of 6-year-olds.
Yeah. No, they get bored.
It's torture. No,
Well,
it's
I
not
mean,
torture.
they don't
It's the
advise
opposite.
that game for young
It's the
people, right?
opposite. They want to count every move. They want to do all the money. They want to do the properties. They can't just move the fucking car. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got to read every fucking card, which takes 10 minutes. So if you want to stop terrorism, get these people in front of kids playing Monopoly. Boom.
But they'll sit there for a good hour.
Sure. Well, I'm there. You're a kid. You can sit with me for an hour. Yeah. Come on now. Right. Just because adults don't care for me doesn't mean kids don't love me.
Because I don't think we got to Monopoly until we were a little older. I just would assume that young kids would be antsy.
Yeah, no, again, this is just one of my goddaughter. She seems to like it. I don't know. I don't know any other kids that would do it. So, yeah.
So no stories about either hitting somebody with food or getting hit by food.
I can't really think of one.
Nobody's taken a French bread to your head, or
no,
not even in jest.
I'm a likable guy, Mike. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, we'll move along then. I thought maybe
I feel like if anybody we know is listening to this, they might have I can't. Yeah, I don't remember any food.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
We'll move along to the next item. Again, the most interesting things seem to happen on TikTok. So apparently, some young guy thought that the way to getting ripped was to eat dry dog food. And of course, he's the typical young idiot, and so he's filming himself, gnawing on this dry dog food, which apparently is not very chewy. It's hard, and it's not a good experience for him. He's making faces as he swallows. So yeah, it turned into a nightmare. But I guess anything for a TikTok video.
And then what happened to him?
Well, no, he just advised that he would not be doing this anymore for the protein gain. He thought this would be a way to boost his protein.
Because he sees a lot of dogs walking around jacked. Their pecs just. Well, he sounds like an idiot. So. No sympathy for him. But you know what I thought of when you kept saying the words "the slap." Not that we need to talk about the whole Chris Rock Will Smith thing, but I did notice. Did you watch the Marie Antoinette thing on PBS?
No.
I started. So the Oscars was a week ago, right?
Yeah.
Last Sunday, whatever.
Yeah.
And so Marie, I'm like, Marie Antoinette's starting tonight. Open up, and what's the name of the first episode? The Slap.
Slap.
And I'm like, really? Like, I understand there's no connection between PBS and anything else, but like nobody at PBS said, this is a little weird.
This is a Masterpiece Theater.
Yeah, and so nobody at PBS is going, let's call it The Slap to stick it to everybody. But but I was so thrown off by that. I still haven't watched it. I just stared and like, why would they call it The Slap? Like 3 days ago, this whole drama, we were reminded of this drama. So either it's super weird or super funny. They did it on purpose, but
So I just wanted to ask before we wrap this up on that particular item, you would never eat dog food to get ripped.
If you eat dog food for a month, you will have the body you always dreamed you would have one day. Sure.
Oh, you would? Okay.
But although then again, I'm sure they say that about actual human foods and exercise. But I'm not doing that. I don't know. I don't know what dog food. It's like, and I've seen this in a couple of shows or movies in striptease or showgirls or Junior Sean's. They're reminiscing about talking about they were so poor they ate dog food. And I remember thinking, well, dog food's not free.
Yeah.
Like to buy a can of dog food is probably the same as buying a can of carrots or something. So I don't know why dog food is the go-to. Wow, am I poor? Well, you're not eating the dog.
And there is a
That
commercial
would
I've
make you
seen.
poor. You eat the dog food and then you cook the dog and eat the dog. Then you'd be like, whoa. I would try dog food if something was guaranteed as a benefit.
Yeah, I've never been attracted to dog food before, but I have to say one of these, not Chewy, but one of these services where they deliver the food, dog food to your house.
Mhm.
And I saw it, I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, that doesn't look that bad. I mean, we had dogs growing up, and it was one of the highlights of just being totally disgusted because canned dog food. Did you ever have that experience, with the canned dog food?
But eating it, no.
Well, but the smell.
I was going to say, I got to be honest. I have in the past opened up a can of dog food, and I'll be like,
Okay, so the smell is improved.
Sometimes
I haven't done this in a long time.
Well, that's another thing. Like, I bet you the dog food that we knew when we were kids, like I had a dog when I was a kid, and the food they have now for dogs,
right?
I bet you they're two different.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably come up in the world.
But I'm not talking about recently. I'm talking about even back when I was a teenager or whatever. I opened up a can, and sometimes I think, wow, that smells pretty good. But I never tried it. But I've smelled worse foods on this podcast.
I was so disgusted at the cans of dog food that I'd feed the dog with, and that I would open the can at both ends. So, and just so I didn't have to hear that sound, because if you just open at one end, you'd have to shake the dog food because that vacuum smell. Yeah. That
vacuum, very satisfying.
That vacuum sound, I meant.
You don't like that?
No, it's that sucking sound. You like that sound? Yeah.
I'm not opening both ends of a can.
Well, that's what I would do to avoid that, and then just sort of push it from the bottom.
Are we telling our audience right now the next thing we eat for this show
no
is dog food?
No, we're not going down that road.
Dog food young?
That would be a stunt. Probably would gain us thousands of new listeners.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't want to hear the Korean.
You can make a TikTok video.
Not in 2023. No, sir. No, thank you.
Yeah.
If you challenged me and we did it on video, I'd take a bite of dog food. I've had worse. But no, that's not what this is about.
No, we're not going there. Although next time I'm in the grocery store, I will go down the pet food aisle.
Yeah.
And see if I see anything.
Yeah.
That might be appetizing.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, I haven't looked in. I bet you the dog food game is crazy, amazing.
They get their whole aisle now. It's a whole aisle.
The way people spoil the pets, of course they're gonna have gourmet food.
It's a whole aisle now. It's it's a big market.
Yeah. Yeah, no sympathy for this dog food guy.
Here's a guy you might want to have some sympathy. This is a tragic story, so we're used to tragedy on this podcast. Did you see this story about a guy who lost all of his limbs after eating his roommate's leftovers?
The roommate did this to him?
No. Yeah, you would think, when I started reading this story, is this some sort of, sinister thing that the roommate cooked up so his roommate wouldn't eat his food? No, it's not the case at all. What happened was that the roommate who had brought home the food, he had gotten very sick from eating it, which begs the question, well, why didn't he throw it all out? Why did he Why did he put the leftovers in the fridge, right? That was a major mistake on his part.
That's right.
But because he got sick immediately after he ate the food, he didn't have the tragic consequences that the poor bastard who ate the leftovers did. The food contained a bacterial infection, Neisseria meningitidis, not meningitis. It's a meningocosma. I can't pronounce these words.
Got it.
Just Google the story. But anyway, so this poor guy and this infection just sort of starts acting immediately. and depriving different parts of the body of oxygen to the point where, you know, he was rushed to the hospital, but they didn't know what was going on right away. And next thing you know, all of his limbs are turning blue. He ended up losing all of his limbs.
Oh my God! How
Yeah,
shitty does this roommate feel?
yeah, the roommate wasn't interviewed, but yeah, I would think he is full of guilt. Like I said, why did he put it back? If I had something that made me sick, I'm not gonna give it a
Yeah.
second shot, right?
God, that poor guy. I mean, the guilt. I mean, when did this
Yeah.
happen?
What's that?
When did this happen?
I guess it happened relatively recently, in a couple months ago or something. I just kind of stumbled upon this story.
That's awful, because you can't even really beat up the guy, because it's like, obviously he feels terrible.
Right.
I mean, ugh.
But something to ponder next time you're looking at your roommate's leftovers. Right?
Maybe don't get your greedy paws all over them. What was the food?
It was like a lo mein noodle, chicken and noodle type thing.
Was it chicken, orange chicken?
No, it wasn't orange
Was that
chicken.
for young gravy?
No, it was like lo mein, a noodle dish.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah, no, horrible story.
Now you're ending the show in a fucking bummer.
No. I'm gonna
bring us up again.
In a different direction.
Okay. All right.
I've got a couple items, or we can move on. Maybe we can move on to the new feature.
All right.
Greg's Picks.
Oh.
Yeah, last week you mentioned that you've purchased over 100 movies on Apple Movies, Apple Tunes, or whatever.
Like, I'm having a midlife crisis, but I don't need all the ladies beating down my door now.
Wherever you buy movies on Apple.
I guess over the years I've accumulated maybe 100-ish movies.
Okay. Well, that was a shocker to me, because it seemed like you've written off movies. You don't watch them. You prefer to spend hours upon hours of a particular TV series.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, well, a movie's only 2 hours. I have to invest my time. I don't have to invest 30, 40 hours in a TV series. But anyway, so that was a surprise to me. Then I saw you posted. What's that?
I'm an enigma. You can't figure me out.
You are. And so you posted a little screen capture of some of the movies you had.
Yeah.
Some of the movies I saw. I mean,
which one was it? What was the first movie at the upper left? I'm trying to. Are you looking at it?
What do you think? I memerized it? I didn't memorize. I mean, I know.
Was it The
Taxi
Shining?
Driver was on there, and
okay. Here it is. Rushmore.
Seems like The Shining, I think, was on there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw the classics that I knew.
Yep.
But as usual, what I expected, you had a fair number of movies that I did not know about at all. I mean, I think I saw an Ed Burns movie. I knew about your love of Ed Burns.
Yeah.
You went through a period there.
I love.
You have all of his movies?
No. I have the first three, particularly the first two. I love. I consider them.
No,
classics.
I know. I was aware of your love of Ed Burns.
Yeah. Everything after that. Some of this is good. Some of this isn't good. I still root for him, but I can't say I love anything as much as his first couple of movies. But if you told me, oh my God, you got to see this Ed Burns movie, it's great, I would sprint to go watch it and love it. Hopefully love it. But these things happen.
So I asked you to recommend a movie.
Yep.
Sure enough, the one you recommended I hadn't seen before.
Oh, I don't like that tone, Mike Lesk. What do you?
We're just getting started. So
That's
what movie did you recommend this movie specifically that you knew it would get a reaction from me?
Well, I
tell us the movie.
And number one, I love the movie. And I've never really run into anybody else who's watched it, so I've never really talked. I've blogged about it 100 times. There's one little story about it I love to remember.
Give us the name of the movie first.
Seems Like Old Times.
Seems Like Old Times.
And I thought, gee, I bet Mike might not have seen this because I never hear anybody else talking about it. It's a Neil Simon, 1980.
Neil Simon. You just said it right there, Neil Simon.
That's right. Oh, is that, you think I'm sticking it to you?
Yeah, you're sticking it. You were sticking it to me with Neil Simon. As soon as I saw it was Neil Simon, I'm like, oh shit.
I get,
you know,
you and your anti Neil Simon.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I picked that. I didn't pick the Star Spangled Girl.
I actually saw that. I've seen that before. Yeah.
Oh.
James Caan's in that, right?
No.
Marsha Mason and
no.
Oh, I'm thinking of Cinderella. Cinderella something or
Cinderella.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else then.
It's a Disney cartoon, Mike.
No.
This Star Spangled Girl, it was when I was a kid, like 12 or 10 or something. I found the collected plays of Neil Simon, and I read the Star Spangled Girl. It's one of many I love. This is my absolute favorite. I have stolen more from this play over the years than anything ever. It's hysterical, laugh out loud, funny to read. So then finally I saw the movie a couple years ago, whatever, and it is. I don't know if I made it through it, to be honest. Who's
in it? Who's in it?
Let's go down this. All right, stop me when you've heard a name. Gordon Busserman, Todd Sussman, Tony Roberts,
Harry. I know that name.
Tony Roberts.
Yeah, he's in all the Woody Allen movies.
Okay. All right. Well, I only made it to 3 names, so you fucked me over there. Right? I thought it'd be funny if I made it all the way down to Sandy Duncan.
Well, Sandy Duncan, of course. I know Sandy Duncan.
She's the main character. But no,
she's the main character.
Awful. Okay. It is terrible. I love this play more than life itself. Not really. But and the movie is unwatchable. So I didn't suggest that one. I suggested Seems Like Old Times, which is a hilarious movie. Chevy Chase before everybody hated him. Goldie Hawn being Goldie Hawn. What more do you need? Benson Dubois, Robert Guillaume, and then a little stage actor from the old days. You might remember Charles Grodin. Is that enough for you?
Well, set it up.
Chevy, Grodin, Benson, Neil.
Okay, now, so all right, that's the cast. What else do you love about this movie?
The dialogue. I mean, the writing.
Just the dialogue. Okay.
The dialogue.
All right.
Well, and the plot, the setup is, the synopsis is fun. The setup's funny. Yeah, it's kind of like an old time caper. A wife, husband and wife, the ex-husband, miscommunications. You know, it's just laugh out loud funny. The lines are just great, and the cast is great, and it's just peak everything. So,
first off, let me say that this movie doesn't appear to be in demand because I couldn't find it on the normal streaming services. I had to download something called Crackle.
Sounds like I'm about to cut Mike a big check.
Fortunately, it is a free app.
Okay.
But you're bombarded with commercials.
Did you watch it already?
I watched it. Yes. No. I prepare myself.
I thought you were going to say, "Okay, I will watch it."
People think there's no preparation, but there's preparation.
Hit me, Mike List.
So I watched this movie, and of course, I did not laugh once.
Oh, shut up.
You know, this came out in 1980. So Chevy Chase is just doing his usual thing.
Yeah.
You know, he makes those little faces, and then he does the pratfalls.
But in his defense, and I know everybody hates Chevy Chase now, but in 1980, that was funny as fuck. Come on, Mike Lesk.
And Goldie Hawn is fine. Goldie Hawn is fine. You know, she gets to wear some nice outfits. Her hair looks great. You know, she looks very good. You know, she's shown in lingerie at one point.
Family podcast, Mike. Come on now. Yeah, she's Pete Goldie Hawn.
Yeah, I wish she had funnier lines. That's all. And then Charles Grodin is doing his thing, which is always great. You know, Yeah, he's a bit one note, right, as an actor, but it's a good one note, right?
Right. It's a great
So
note.
you're happy to see the grumpy Charles Grodin in
It's one note, but it's a
any
hell of a note.
movie he's in.
Yeah.
He does grumpy like no one else. Who else does grumpy like Charles Grodin? Nobody.
Nobody.
I can't think of anybody.
Nobody.
Um,
Imagine Robin Williams if they'd, I don't know what the story, I forget what the story is, how it didn't happen, but there had been talk of Robin Williams in Midnight Run and Charles Grodin's role.
that would have been horrible.
Yeah. But
So I really don't have anything against the actors in the movie. They're doing the best they can. But here's the thing, you know, I didn't appreciate all the Goldie Hawn's supposed to be sort of a down on her luck lawyer. I mean, she's complaining that she doesn't have money, but guess what? She's got a chauffeur. She's got a cook.
She's not down on her luck. She's just a do-gooder lawyer who wants to help people.
Right. She's
probably at that age, right when people say, fuck this, I'm going to switch to the other side.
Yeah, so. I guess she's a public defendant,
Yeah.
And so they show her in court, a couple times. She gets off a couple Native Americans. She puts them to work because, that's what she does. She puts...
gets them jobs.
She gives people...
Puts them to work.
She gets more servants for her household from the people she deals with in the court. So she's got a chauffeur, she's got a cook. She's got a cook, she's got all these servants, and of course,
but it's understood. And I assume it's understood. It's her husband who's really rich, right?
Like her husband's up for. He's going to run for a district attorney, Charles Grodin, and Chevy Chase is the ex-husband who wanted to start writing a book, but then he gets pulled into he gets kidnapped and forced into a bank robbery. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stuff that happens every day. And of course, hijinks ensue. But to me, it hasn't aged well. How old were you when you first saw this movie?
I know exactly how old I was. I saw it in 6th grade on TV.
6th grade, okay.
And I know that because we were supposed to do something. I think I told you this. I totally stole a scene from it and acted it out in class the next day. We were supposed to write a paragraph or something, or a poem or something. And I went up and totally ripped off the scene. That first scene when they're at the gas station, and he's like, what do you want? Regular. Unleaded. That whole thing when the guys there. I did that. And I thought I would just get away with it because I'd blown off the assignment and I was just hoping. But the class loved it so much, they made me do it the next two days.
Really? Okay.
The guilt was just melting me down. I'm like, I fucking stole all this. But I got my trap shut for years until now. So,
well, I'll give you credit. Yeah, you selected a movie that none of your classmates probably haven't seen to this day.
Correct. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael.
So they're probably still talking about what you did in that 6th grade classroom.
Yeah. Even in 6th grade, I knew to pick a movie nobody would fucking check me on.
So I'll give you that credit for that. I mean, I couldn't see myself watching this movie when I was in the 6th grade, So it's somewhat sophisticated. Mm-hmm. But have you seen it recently?
Yeah, definitely within the last.
Well, you purchased it, right? So
I purchased it. So I've done the last 5 or so years. Yeah. I love this movie.
It still does it for you? Everything? Yeah. Everything's doing it for you?
It's not Citizen Kane. You're not supposed to.
No, I'm not saying it is, but I don't know. I just...
It might be part nostalgia because I have that great memory of stealing it and getting all those laughs.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Might be a part of it.
Seems to have a little personal connection rather than just sort of an aesthetic appreciation.
I watched it with my mother. Maybe there's some, childhood, as you would say, Proustian stuff there. Maybe that's part of it, but I still think it's a great movie. If it pops, if I had to watch it now, I'd love it. So yeah.
I mean, I can't recommend it to anybody. If you want to,
this is getting worse.
I don't
I
want
highly
people.
recommend it. I love this movie. It's
Yeah,
laugh out
okay.
loud funny.
We're going to be the new Siskel and Ebert of the podcast, but
I do.
so yeah, I'm
2 Egg Foo Youngs up.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna be the grouchy Siskel, I think, going forward. You're gonna be the more positive Ebert.
I can't believe.
Seems to
Like I
like
said
everything.
last week, none of my friends am I the upbeat, happy one, looking to get more out of life.
Well, you found somebody to make you the happy person.
Any time else, I'm the Mike Lisk.
Yeah.
So if you had to give well, you're saying no thumbs up, no Egg Foo Youngs up.
No.
Recommend.
Yeah, right. That'll be our rating system.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no gravy.
No gravy
for this Egg Foo Young.
I say a lot of gravy. I love this movie. Now, would you like to pick the next one then? Since I picked this one.
No. This is
Greg's picks. Greg's picks.
They're Greg's picks.
Okay.
Like you said, I mean,
okay.
I want to find out more about what makes Greg tick.
Oh, okay.
So I think if we and like I said, just that one little screenshot you put on Twitter, I'm like, well, maybe I've seen less than half of these.
Wow.
So I think there's a lot to explore, and I think it'll be an interesting journey because you've got different connections to movies, I think, than I do. Who kind of I'm a little jaded and sit back and
trying to think and pick one right now if you'd like. Let's do League of Their Own. I mean, who doesn't love the League of Their Own? I mean,
I've never seen it.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You've never seen the League of Their Own?
I've seen bits of it, Of course,
well,
I've seen.
There's
no crying in baseball.
Yes, that's right.
There's no crying in baseball.
All right, you're watching a League of Their Own because I got news for you. The crying in baseball scene's funny and it's iconic or whatever. The follow-up scene to that scene is 1,000 times funnier. But the movie is great. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. I don't know how you've been on this earth for 31 years and not seen this movie.
Yeah, well, that's why this will be
even Mike Lisk as Siskel with the no Foo Young gravy. If you come back with a bad review of this, I will be. I'm almost challenging you.
Listen, I hear it. I don't want to not enjoy movies. I don't look to not enjoy stuff. I mean, I want to enjoy stuff.
All right.
But I don't know. I find lots of stuff falls short.
All right. Let's do a League of Their Own.
League of Their Own. Will do.
Expect nothing but glowing reports. Gives me an excuse to watch it for the 9,000th time.
So you want to rate your buffalo chicken? Is it worth rating?
No, mine's not. I nibbled on like 3 or 4 wings. They're just normal, whatever. I don't know. How about you? You can if you want.
I give it a 6. They were pretty good. They were meaty wings, Doc, because they don't even offer you. I guess it's the idea of blue cheese and ranch dressing is just foreign.
Yeah,
a foreign experience. So they don't even offer it.
Yeah, you gotta ask for it, maybe.
Yeah.
And then post-pandemic, you gotta ask for that shit, though.
I got a fortune here. Quality isn't expensive. It's priceless.
That is not a fortune, but my mind did just spin off its axis and get on the 912 bus downtown and explode. That is easily the most interesting fortune you've had in months.
Really? Okay.
Like it totally doesn't make sense and contradicts itself. And is incredibly stupid, but at least it's kind of coherent and gets a little bit of a push forward, even though again it's literally not a fortune. But these things happen, Mike.
They happen.
Read it again.
Read it again.
Let me hear it again.
That's a first. Quality isn't expensive. It's priceless.
That's gonna stick.
You're gonna be thinking about that all night, huh?
Again, it's not a fortune, but it's gonna stick. All right. Nice.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Hit that subscribe button, and we appreciate everybody tuning in week to week. Now I'm not reading it.
Do whatever Mike says, subscribe, etc., etc. Very nice.
Adios.
We got to work on these goodbyes, Mike.
We do.
We do so well with the intros.
We do.
All right, buddy. Have a good week.
Take care.